Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's talk about Trina for a minute. So now Diane's going to be representing her. They were saying something along the lines of like Scotty's daughter got like arrested in some sort of foreign country, dealing with some sort of activism as far as like animals and hunting and stuff like that. And to be completely honest, this is probably the best thing that could have happened for Trina. Okay, this is literally the best thing that could have happened for Trina is having Diane rep her. Okay, so when they started asking questions about Diane, like, oh, I don't know if this is a good fit, because Diane was like, oh, well, I get it, I'm kind of like mobbed up or whatever. I'm like, Diane was the same lawyer that handed Scotty his ass in their last little tussle. Why are we sitting there questioning for? I, Seriously. Just say thank you and shut up. Because all the other stuff was completely unnecessary. Um, After that, they just kind of went over, trying to prepare for the case. And, Laura got over there and she gave her a letter or whatever, so to sit there and help her out. So that's all going for her. Now, afterwards, I was sitting there wondering where this was going with Portia asking Diane about, stress and, you know, like, have you seen any other clients, handle stress and things of that nature? And at first I was like, Portia, where are you going with this? But what this really came down to was, any symptoms that was going to form up as far as schizophrenia or anything like that with Trina. But I'm sitting there thinking, like, granted, this is probably the biggest thing that happened to Trina so far, and granted, I am no mental health expert, but what is Trina like 18? Nothing's never came out of. I don't really understand all the extra questions. Um, like, she's also not a psychiatrist, so she doesn't know how she's gonna do under mental pressure or anything like that. So I just was like, why are you asking her for? You know? Honestly, tell you the truth, I can't wait for this whole secret to come out where, Trina is going to be found, Curtis' daughter and everything like that. Because up until this point, she's been trying to make these phone calls to see a genetic counselor and asking all these questions with Diane as far as, oh, how do you think she's going to do on the trial as far as mentally speaking? I'm like, what? Now, in the beginning, there was a couple of times where, Jocelyn was sitting there saying stuff, and it was completely unnecessary. It was like, why are you here for? Like, just some of the little comments that she was saying just seemed like completely unnecessary. Um, Ava got there, and Ava at this point, Ava was like, yo, listen, you need to sit there and tell the secret. You need to sit there and tell this ace in the hole, whatever you can sit there and do. Um, your last resort, you need to sit there and tell this. And Jocelyn was like, yo, listen, I don't even like this chick, but she has a point. So when Ava left, because, you know, um, Trina sent her for a necklace, she tells Jocelyn about, she's seeing Spencer during that whole sex tape thing. And, when sex tape was released. And Jocelyn's like, then you need to sit there and say something. But Trina has a point, though. Because Trina was like, listen, it doesn't matter if I sit there and say this or not, because I could have, set an alarm to actually have it go off on a certain time. It's not going to necessarily prove that I'm innocent. That's what you're talking about. Oh, it could be somewhat doubtful. But I mean, listen. As much as I get on Spencer, I don't see a point. I don't see a point of throwing him under the bus about this. Oh, well, I have an alibi that really wasn't an alibi. It's like, okay, yeah, you saw him and he saw you, and you can testify that he saw you, but technology in this instance works against it because you can always sit there and program your phone to record at a certain time. So that doesn't really prove anything. So I don't understand why Ava and Jocelyn's like, oh, you gotta sit there and tell the truth. It's like, that may not do anything. Hell, in some ways, And I could be wrong because I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. It may actually prove something against her. I don't know, but I don't feel like it's going to help her. Um, yeah, I don't feel like it's going to really help her. So Curtis and Marshall finds the guy. I don't even know what his name is, but finds the guy that sold Esme the phone and starts kind of scaring him a little bit, talking about the trial and testifying and things of that nature. And after that, he left. With Marshall's like, "Yo, we didn't really get anything from him." But Curtis is like, "No, no, no, no. We got more than you think." The plan was to get him robbed out so he can go back to the person that bought him the phone and be like, "Yo, listen, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to sit there and be testifying and going to jail." And he was already lying low because of the whole bar incident and everything else. So he was like, he's going to sit there and wind up going back to Esme, asking questions and things of that nature. And, we can sit there and get more out of him than, having him. Because it's not like he was just going to be a good Samaritan and actually have a conscience, be like, "Oh, you're right. I'll go sit there and testify." No, he's a lowlife. Um, so he did exactly what Curtis expected him to do, which is actually really smart. Wish people would actually have more brain power in the beginning, but hey, here we are. Um, so he goes to Spoon Island, and Marshall's like, "All right, cool, let's go." But Curtis is like, "That's not a good idea. They got private security. We go there. They're gonna sit there and tip Esme off. What we need to sit there and do, and this is the part that did just happen to work for plot convenience, because he was like, what we need is somebody on the inside. And what happens if Ava didn't show up? Like, that's it. What happens if Ava didn't show up at that point? What was your contingency plan? What was your backup plan? What was your plan on going with that? But of course, Ava shows up, so most likely Ava's gonna sit there and help because, well, she can't stand Esme, and yeah, I see that happening. Now, of course, Spencer keeps slipping up with Esme as far as the way he's acting. He's all like, "No, no, no, I got a surprise for you. It's gonna rock your world." Gonna rock your world, okay. So he goes to the hospital to sit there and pick up the test results. He runs into Rory. He acts like a dick. He starts talking about, "Oh, well, you're taking advantage of her because you're kissing her and stuff like that." And Rory's like, "You got a girlfriend. Why does it matter what I'm doing?" Like, I don't know if he actually saw the papers that that Spencer dropped, but they go into it. They go back and forth, and then of course, Spencer's like, "Oh, I want you to have a horrible day." I'm like, you know, the only person going to be having a horrible day between you two is Spencer. When he tries that dumbass, crackheaded plan, that's not going to work. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. His plan is to sit there and hold some sort of truth over Esme as far as, "Oh, I know who your bio mom is, and I can sit there and tell you, but you gotta confess first. But I'll give you a solid. I'll give you a head start. How about that?" So, what do you say? You gonna do it? You gonna sit there and spill the beans? No, no, and wrong answer. It, so yeah, between the two of them, there's only gonna be one person that's gonna have a bad day, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be Rory. Hell, if if Trina actually does sit there and say, "I have an alibi," and she points towards Spencer, he's gonna have even a worse day. Okay, because there's a good chance that he's gonna be going to I sit there and say Arkham, Pentonville. He's gonna be going to Pentonville. So yeah. So yeah, the guy actually does want to go on to Spoon Island, text her, and he winds up meeting her at the door, and Esmond's like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" So that's gonna be interesting. This is after, I guess convincing Nicholas to help see Ryan. At first he was all like, "Oh, well, my name doesn't have a lot of sway there, but I could sit there and ask the hospital to override, what Kevin says." So I guess we're gonna at some point get more scenes between Esme and Ryan, which would actually be interesting. Um, and of course, Nicholas once again says don't sit there and say anything, we'll sit there and blow up all of our lives. I mean, here's the thing: when you gotta sit there and tell the woman who you wind up banging around with to not keep your dirty little secret so many times, eventually, like, she's either gonna get really pissed off or you're gonna get caught. Because you keep sitting there saying, "Hey, don't say anything don't say anything that happened about me and you, about the sex that we had." Okay. So Valentine, after meeting up with Victor, because Victor wasn't really happy that Valentine didn't go with Spike in the drink, and of course Valentine was like, "I was the last person that saw her. I'm gonna sit there and be blamed for it. Let me handle this my own way." So he goes and he meets up with Laura. Now at this point, Victor's like, "No, no." He already got a sniper waiting for Laura, because he has the deputy mayor or whatever, like, in his pockets. So she lured her to some other place or whatever. I guess the terrace balcony of the Metro Court. So anyway, Laura meets up with Valentine, and she's like, "Yo, tell me what happened with that little drink thing, because you're normally not like that. Like, what's going on?" And of course, Valentine tries to lie and cover up and things of that nature. And I guess it must have been like a muzzle flash or something, because he saw the sniper and he starts pushing her. Now she's like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for manhandling you." She's like, "Yo, I don't know what's going on with you." And of course, she gets a call from the deputy mayor. It's like, "Oh, well, we got a wires cross or whatever." So she goes and heads over to the hospital. And Valentine's like, "Yo, listen, let me do this my way, because if you kill her, if you think the whole Luke thing was bad, imagine killing Laura. Like, let me handle this my way." Um, I'm just like, yo, now this dude's using snipers and stuff like that. And the sad thing is that I think the most, because Laura is a prominent character on the show, so the most he can sit there and do is probably put her in a coma for a little bit. I don't see him actually killing her off. I mean, I know with soap operas and stuff like that, you never really know, but I don't really feel like Victor is going to be able to kill um, Laura off. So I think when the episode ended and Laura was at the hospital talking to, I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember. She got a call about her mother. Now I don't know if they killed off the mother or they put the mother in a coma or sick or something. Um, but he did something to her mother. Leslie, right? Yeah, I think that's her name. Leslie Lou. Wow. I feel like that's actually about it. Yeah, only one page. It's weird because usually when there's so much stuff going on, I at least have like about 2 pages of notes. Um, but I gotta sit there and say this was a decent episode. I could have probably done without her trying to prepare them, as far as the trial is going, as far as what to expect and things of that nature. I could have really done without that. Um, but I felt like they probably put it in there for time just to kind of stretch out the episode. So it wasn't really great. But for the most part, besides that, I think it was a decent episode. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.